This is a story of the old one, Native Americans and their sacred land. Yes, that's me. I love to wet a hook here and there. I've loved to fish all my life. But don't get to fish like I did when I was younger. But I like running up down these Tennessee lakes. They're so beautiful. Some of these places are real remote. Now I'm going to share a story with you of an old timer told me in my younger days about things that went on that fishermen have seen and witnessed along these old Tennessee lakes. Some weird places. But first I'll show you some beautiful pictures of the lake. Such beauty, God's creation. Anywhere you go in this Tennessee lake. And I love to fish at night. Loved it. Just relax, let it go by. Listen to the whippoorwills. Try to get the crappie up. So beautiful. But over my years, I have heard and seen a few things. Mostly heard. I've heard of stuff me back in the middle of nowhere fishing at night and something tearing the woods down. Hell, it could have been a bear, but I mean it was something big just tearing the woods down, going through it. And I've heard whoops in the night in these old ridges in the middle of nowhere. And I've been out fishing too, and big old rocks being slung into the lake. And nobody there. I don't understand that. And I have seen some strange lights above the treetops on these ridges coming and going, but that's about it. But I'm going to share with you a little story that an old timer told me at work these docks. He told me some fishermen told him stories that would raise a hair on the back of your head and your neck. Just amazing. So at first, I'm going to bring you up to a little bit of history. Now here's a map of all the tribes of North America here in the continental U.S. And I'm zeroing down in on the southeast, around East Tennessee and all the Tennessee Lake area. Now, for countless generations before anybody ever come in here, the first people was the Native Americans. And they used these waterways, this is their livelihood, to hunt with and to live, and they were one with the land. And they've done this for generations after generations. And they had all little villages and little towns along these waterways, especially here around the Tennessee Valley. Pictures like this of little villages. And they were a proud people. And they carried on their traditions for hundreds of generations. Their ways, all their secrets, their knowledges, and everything about this land. And they had a lot of burial ground. A lot of them are well known and preserved, but a lot of them are not. They just so much, they've been here so long that just some places are just about forgotten. And here in the Tennessee Valley, it don't matter, Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, all this lake system, they covered up many of them. And the sad part is, they left a lot here in the Trail of Tears. Had to be run off their land and moved on. That's the saddest part of our history. And so many of them were just forgotten in the land, still in the ground in all their sacred land, their towns, their villages. And when TVA started all these lakes, a lot of them were submerged. A lot of them was moved, but a lot of them wasn't. And they tried their best to what they know places archaeology to remove them and preserve them. But there was just so many of them that they couldn't get to all of them. So I guarantee you, just like people, there's still people under these lakes that are forgotten. And there are places like this that the old guy used to tell me at the dock, that people, a certain part of the lake, on certain moon phases, people would see and hear certain things. But during the day, it's just a beautiful, peaceful places on these little ridges and mountains above the lakes. Beautiful country. So peaceful, so relaxing. I can only imagine what it was like hundreds of years ago. Unsettled, wild land that the Native Americans worshipped. I can see why. But the mood changes when the sun starts going down in some places. Such beautiful sunsets here on these mountains. And when the sun goes down, some of these places, these fishermen say that they would hear distant drums, chants on these ridges along the lake up into the night, but they couldn't figure out where they was coming from. And only certain places they would see like things or eyes glowing out of the woods on them. They'd look and there'd be one, then two, look again, there'd be three, maybe more, looking at them. Don't know what that was. Nobody was reflecting a light up there. And then they'd just go away. Other times, people have been there, he said, and they would see a light dancing on the water or under the water. A ball of light. And it would just disappear. And they'd swear by it too. Well, one time, there was a bunch of old local boys want to do some catfishing down on the bank. They got there before dark, sat down and built them a big fire, commenced to fishing. Well, they didn't pay much of nothing, though, just having a good old time. One of them had nature called. He went up in the woods a little bit, and he got to noticing something like a light up there. He's moving around, he said. Just a light up in the woods behind the trees. He trying to figure out what it was. He finally just took off running back to the camp to tell the other guys. Well, they thought he was all just a bunch of crap, just trying to fool them. So, well, he just kept on, so they went up there to check themselves. As they eased up through there, they seen that. They seen it too. It's moving between the trees. Back in the distance in the woods. And they didn't know what that was. Now, these are old country boys. They know what they seen, what they do, and what's in the woods. But it was just, they kept watching. Just sneaking around the trees, moving towards them. They were just astonished. What could that be? No other sounds was being made, no animal sound. And they just abandoned everything and run back to camp. Well, that's just another old story. Another story, they say, fishermen early in the morning would be fishing the banks, and they just happened to see, look like faces of Indians up in the trees. Cherokee. So they think that this was some kind of sacred burial ground or a ceremonial place, because this is just a little area that this would happen at. So you just don't never know. So many secrets are forgotten and gone here. But you never know what's running around in these ridges at night. In some places, you just never know, or who's watching you. A lot of ancestors here, the old ones. This is their country, and they're still here too. So I want to thank you for watching these little videos. I hope you enjoy these pass me down stories I'm trying to continue, because I don't want them to be forgotten. This is our country, the Appalachians. So thanks for watching. God bless, and I'll see you next time.